Facebook doesn't serve a purpose anymore, nor does the internet. Everything seems to be a socially controlled platform that corporations run every aspect of the internet and spy on our life like Big Brother. That we think we are free on the internet, but now we are entering a dark age of the internet, where that golden age is over with. I noticed a trend in the past 5 years, especially on the internet, that nothing is really grassroots or like 4chan anymore. And in particular, if a corporation runs a platform, they have the final say. And often they are the ones censoring people on said platforms. Well, oddly enough, Facebook, which was once a platform for normies, has now become a ground for pseudo-intellectualism. And it's kind of an echo chamber full of theory fiction fans and postmodern dupes. That is to say, there's no longer Chads and Stacys talking about their social life, but you have nerds and weirdo people using Facebook so they can do whatever they want on it. And they have taken over the platform, and now you're seeing this bizarre journal bloggingism where posts are upvoted by uplikes, and people get famous over Facebook like they do on Twitter. But no one ever leaves Facebook. And so you get this kind of bizarre echo chamber of sorts, and it is kind of this a cult in the making. And this isn't some elaborate prank, but there are weirdos, and you do come across bizarre people on Facebook. So what do you expect with Facebook in 2021? Well, there's certainly the Facebook groups and the daily posts. You get bizarre groups like the Hanzi whatever learning society, a Metamodernism, which is basically a giant prank. For example, you get users like this where they're quoting Colin Wilson. And then you can know from everything from John Morgan to Richard Wollstonecraft to Robert Stark. So all your favorite minor alt-right to alt-left celebrities saying, going out for a swim. I don't like this guy. And then they get 20 and 30 upvotes, and we think we belong into this social group. And so people have created lives over this isolated society. And you're seeing this kind of students in no-name schools trying to sound smart and write blog posting like they're intellects or something. And this is really becoming a so-called affair, sort of. And the posts are kind of like gibberish. And it is mumbo jumbo, all of this. So I thought I'd categorize 3 schools and point to the individuals who are responsible for such posting mumbo jumbo Facebook narcissism. First, I'd like to go over something called Leftbook. And Leftbook only exists on Facebook. And it's a few group of individuals that all give each other 100 likes. And those are J.G. Michael of his Parallax View podcast, Alex Gengler, who I was his roommate. I mean, hey, he was offering the room. Douglas Lane of Zero Books, who constantly stalks me if I mention Zero Books. And Ben Burgess. I mean, the guy's nice, but, he always making whatever comments, and then here come the likes, and then the funny part is when they like each other, you can see if Ben Burgess makes a comment, Lane, Gendler, and Michael follow suit and like his meme. And you can insert person that tries to sound like Keith Preston here, but it's actually trans. And so you'll always get something about Gendler talking about this and that, and Michael about... And so it's a fake group of people trying to be neoliberal, but trying to be dirtbag left, or postmodern, and it's really obnoxious, normie tier shit. But then you get something called Metamodernism, which it is this kind of school of Facebook pranking, where they are modernist, but they're no longer postmodernist, but they're trying to envision what postmodernity would be. And so you have people like Kashif Vikas, who I interviewed in 2017 on University of Penn's campus. And I say to him, it's your fault you introduced me to these cult scenes. And you have Brett Cooper, who talks incoherently about technology and is swindling everyone with his plan of sorts. His friend Case, don't even look him up. I'm not going to mention his name. Daniel Gortz, who's the actual Hansi, who is a fictional character. They're like playing this really bizarre LARPy Final Fantasy VII house. And Justin Carmine, who was really nice to me and talks about comics. But they all talk like modernists and David Foster Wallace lovers and kind of like Mark Fisher. I mean, the left book will like Fisher, but I don't know what these guys like. They just like talking hypothetical modernity. And I had another guy named Nitzan Herman, who I think is a loser and basically is influenced by all this schizoid talk. And this is a part of the Facebook pseudo-intellectualism. But I really want to make sure about this because now you have a new scene influenced from left book and metamodernism, and that's the Warden Post. The Warden Post is made up by boxer extraordinaire Alexander von Marstal and this E. Christian, but totally not E. Michael Jones, Lucas Edelon. I mean, we once talked about Blank Banshee or something. We're on good terms. I don't know. And this guy called Brian Francis Culkin, who makes up called the Culkin Reader. And I don't know if exactly the Warren Post, but they certainly post on that, and he was in the Metamodern group. So it's all this Facebook cult of sorts. And here comes Kashif on the ride. So this is really bizarre. You know, what's the similarity of the dirtbag leftism of Alex Gendler, the post-pomo stuff of Brett Cooper, and the Navadois of the Warden Post on Facebook? They all sound similar, right? But let me tell you something about their insecurities. They're all postmodern gibberish. This is a Sokol affair. This is some people have lost the urge of sincerity, and then they're now just writing theory fiction and in an echo chamber of sorts. Let me tell you about the wrongs of being on Facebook. So the wrongs of Facebook is that you ultimately advocate narcissism. That it's a form of feeling good about yourself because you don't have a Substack or a blog spot or any public platform, your own website. It's just on Facebook and you can see your likes. You don't have to get off your fat ass. You're just on the smartphone and can say it, right? It's an isolationism. You're only in your own Mark Lombardi web and you'll never escape that web. You know, there's name calling and shaming that if you don't agree with party lines, you get shamed and name called for it. And I see this a lot. A lot of trolling happens. You know, everyone has a Facebook profile now in 2021. And so Facebook posters never leave the platform nor publish a book or anything of public. If you Google search someone's name, they will not leave Facebook. They're just some, J.G. Michael, Alex Gendler figure out there in the stars. And it's hard for them to leave the Facebook platform. It's a cult. And so there's this metamodernism prank is literally advocates staying on Facebook. That it becomes this kind of weird pyramid scheme of sorts. So nerds become the Chads and Stacy who used the platform a decade ago. No art is ever published, nor anyone makes new friends. That's the illusion. I've been duped into this Facebook stuff for now 3-4 years. Started in 2017, and it's not what it was a decade ago, and you'll find dirtbag left, metamodernist, and Warden Post. And you really think some new post-alt-right movement is going to happen through this POMO talk. I'm now starting to believe none of this academic emulation's going to work. It's all this kind of consumer grandbag for these people who wish they were in academia. I can imagine Albert Borgman actually coming on Brett Cooper's show, and he's very innocent saying, "I'm here to answer a fan's question with his own perverted ideological interest." It reminds me when I got Jamie Stewart on The Stark Truth and I poked him about Asian-Aryanism, right? You know, it's kind of a selfish, narcissistic thing, and I feel bad for the actual celebrity being in a crossfire for this. So I say this to all you pseudo-intellectuals out there. Facebook is not an intellectual salon. It is not 4chan, and it is a wasteland for nerds to take over. It's a part of the problem. It's a Gen X millennial thing now, and I really think Facebook is now a part of, it's a problem. And they're all this dumb modernists talking this blogging for everyone, and it's goofy. You can do like Cal Arts and talks postmodernity and get popular on Facebook, and no one gives a fuck on TikTok who you are. I've yet to see this happen on TikTok. None of these people have TikToks either. And there's something wrong about branding here and about public intellectualism. It's a part of the problem. It's a socially controlled, isolated unit. So when I was in San Francisco, I was at a ice cream place called Lamperts Ice Cream. And I walked in the store to get some cotton candy ice cream, and there's a big TV sign. And the owner says, "Go outside, permanently delete Facebook forever." Amazing. I was thinking to myself, wow, maybe I should do that. Well, and I do. I don't even use Facebook anymore, and I just use it to talk to some friends, maybe like that guy and this guy, or reach out or look at people. But Facebook, it's nothing like, it's not even public. It's all these private stuff. And so Facebook does create this isolated maniac type of behavior. So I say to these left books, these metamodernists and the Warden Post, is that modernity has failed. Pomo talk won't save you. All right? And the thing is, like, it's my criticism why I'm anti-modernist. I'm not a reactionary. I want to go back. I just don't want to go to modernity. There's other forms of intellectualism out there, and it doesn't have to be modernist or postmodernist at all. It's just not modernity. And so this is what I'm seeing. This pseudo-intellectual, fake liberal science academic talk is really damaging people. And it doesn't make people normal and healthy and speak in clarity terms. And this is coming from a college-educated individual here who's experienced that all. And I've already made 2 videos on why the Hansi Society is crazy and Metamodernism, and why Brett Cooper's a nut. All of them. So I say this as a warning to all my friends and followers, is that there is such thing as Facebook pseudo-intellectualism, and I gave you some lists there. So just watch out. They're a group of weird cult people. So, class dismiss, and thanks for listening.